So today we're going to be talking about reverse culture shock.
Bro, if Dutch people think you're ugly, they're gonna say it.
You don't need to talk about that.
Straight up ended up telling her like, hey ma, you look like shit today.
Oh, you can say that?
Because you're used to be very cold and detached from people. So when like someone is being so nice, I'm sometimes like...
Back in my country, that's kind of a normal thing, you know, to like get abused.
Hey guys, what's up? Fade Chronicles here today. So guys, I've previously done some videos on culture shock in the Netherlands, but today we're going to switch it up a bit. I'm going to go around, I'm going to interview people in The Hague about reverse culture shock. And I know what some of you guys are already thinking. What's reverse culture shock? Let me give you guys an example so you can understand. So I've been in the Netherlands for almost 4 years now, and I've gotten pretty used to the Dutch culture and all. So now when I go back to Zimbabwe, there's a lot of stuff I find pretty weird, let's say. And I go through some more culture shocks, even though it's my own culture, you know? So yeah, guys, that's what I'm going to be interviewing people about. So stay tuned and let's see. And the first question is, where are you guys from?
I'm from Romania.
I'm from the Philippines.
we're both from Italy.
Italy, Sicily.
I'm from Zimbabwe.
So I'm from Taiwan.
Oh, okay. Now, the second question I'm going to ask is, it's about reverse culture shock. So what's the biggest reverse culture shock you'd say you've gone through?
How parents treat their kids. When I moved here, my parents were like, I don't know, a bit nicer to me, and I would see my friends everywhere like their parents are nice to them, and you know, you don't get abused or anything. But back in my country, that's kind of a normal thing, you know, to like get abused. And also the economy, because Romania is kind of it's not doing great. It's not like it's that bad, but it is. Like the Netherlands is really a Western country and Romania is a very Eastern country. So the difference in economics is really big.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it.
Interesting. How about you, bro?
Well, to me, personally, I'm someone who adapts easily to my surroundings. So I, at a not very young age, but on my early teens, I moved here. I was also about 5 years ago. And I tend to adapt with how people deal with each other. With the Dutch or the people in the Netherlands, they tend to be quite, direct.
Yeah.
And, they just, say what comes to mind first thing. And, I tend to bring that to my Filipino household sometimes. And, I can come across, pretty disrespectful with how direct I can be. Another thing is, the way people treat each other in the Netherlands.
Okay.
It's also mostly about, yeah, you can be whatever you want. You can be whoever you be, however you feel. And, most Filipino parents from an older generation tend to push their own ideas onto you.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, that's a stereotypical Asian thing. Like your parents would like for you to be a doctor instead of, something else.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
Do you have maybe like a story so people can better understand like the directness of like from the Dutch culture to like the Filipino culture? Like just an example or?
Bro, if Dutch people think you're ugly, they're gonna say it. Like, or if you cook something and they don't like it, they're gonna say, oh, this isn't that great. You know, they won't say, oh, what went wrong? Are you okay? Like, no, they're just gonna say it.
Interesting.
I mean, I've had this one situation where my mother looked concerningly tired, but I just, I straight up ended up telling her like, hey ma, you look like shit today. You could imagine how that would sound.
Because I'm thinking from my culture, if I told my mom that, it wouldn't end well.
No, it did not end well for me either.
So I don't know if this is necessarily a culture shock, but one thing I think is the weather.
Mm-hmm.
The weather to me is a culture shock because not necessarily the weather itself, but as we all know in the Netherlands, it can rain, hail, be sunny, and snow all in the same day, if not the same 3 hours. And I just think like that's crazy because what happens in the culture in the Netherlands is that people talk about the weather more. So people will be like, oh, today's a sunny day. It's such a great day. But back in Zimbabwe, when I go back, I'll wake up and the sun is nice. I'll mention that it's a sunny day and people be like, okay. Like, like, it's a sunny day all the time, man. Like, you don't need to talk about that. So I think that's like a culture shock. It's just like a different mood. People appreciate the sun more, yeah.
Yeah, sure. I think the people, no?
I think, for me, like a biggest thing that I'm noticing now, because I moved back to Italy, but not in Sicily, in Rome.
Okay.
So now I have like a double perspective as well. And I think in Rome, they are a bit more like, since it's such a bigger city, like a lot of people are very friendly, which is something that I haven't really noticed here, like everywhere. But that's my experience. They are friendlier and like more maybe polite,
Okay.
but it's also like, I think harder to, receive like a smile. I don't know. It's like they are more like smiley maybe.
What, here they're more smiley versus Italy they're
Yeah,
less?
but they're more friendly there. Like they help you more in Italy, I think.
Yeah, for sure.
That's like maybe you could
That's a
elaborate
paradox.
it's a bit confusing for people watching.
I know, yeah, sorry.
No, but I think we'll understand. We'll try to understand.
Here they're like more, they're synthetic, when they interact with you, like in shops or in cafes. They are not friendly, but like they just seem.
They're just polite. They just do like the basic interaction.
Oh,
you
you
know?
mean the bare minimum?
There's
what they
the
need to
smile, but there's basic interaction. While in Italy,
It's more interaction.
at some point you become friend with the barista. You go and always meet the same person. You have a small conversation. Here you don't really have the small conversation of every day.
Okay.
They're more warm, like in Italy.
Yeah, you feel like more genuine connection. That's what you mean.
Yeah,
Exactly,
So, I
exactly.
think so.
Which is weird when you go from the Netherlands back to Italy, because you're used to be very cold and detached from people. So when like someone is being so nice, I'm sometimes like are you trying to get something from me? Like, what is happening? And then they're just nice.
So I think people here are more straightforward. So I picking up that really fast. So when I went back to Taiwan and being kind of stand up for myself a bit, then people will be shocked. Like, oh, you can say that? Something like that.
Can you maybe elaborate on that? When you say stand up for yourself?
Yeah.
Cause give us like a feel about Taiwanese, right? Taiwanese culture.
Yeah.
Some of us, we're not really familiar with it. So
For me, it's like personally, I'm more like a people pleaser. So I say something really nice and sweet to a certain situation instead of saying what I really want or what I really need. But here in the Netherlands, I think people just really feel really comfortable to say what they want.
okay.
So I kind of learned that if I want something, I need to say. Otherwise, people won't know.
Okay. And now when you went back home, you're saying people weren't like used to that. That's not really how people are there. So
Yes, I think there will be more. I think they will tell something in the second layer way. So it's not like really straightforward, but I'm gonna just say it like that.
Yeah. Like, for example, when I go back to Italy, I want to go out and study somewhere in a library, in a cafe, and they just don't do that. Either you study at home or you study at uni. So, while here, I always go to the library, I go to cafes with friends, and we study outside.
So wait, you mean like you go to like a cafe or a library and like people don't, what do you mean? Maybe elaborate more.
Just like, drink coffee very quickly
and go away. So like, for example, when you go to a cafe and you get an espresso, you take the espresso, you drink it, and then you go away.
Sit down sometimes. You just take it at the.
Also, like, no, like you can't chill there or.
You can, but
it's
rare.
But it's rare. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that is a huge difference. I guess.
I moved here like 6 years ago, and I go back to Romania each year. But each time I go back, it's a little bit weird because, school systems are very different. So every time I try to explain to my grandparents, oh, I'm doing this, I'm doing half, oh, I'm doing favor, they're like, what is that? Like, and I don't know.
For the people watching, because I don't exactly know you said, I don't even know what you said. Maybe you could explain it so people understand better.
Oh, I don't know. Romania is kind of like old school, like first grade, second grade, third grade, just like in America, kind of. And in the Netherlands, you have different names for that things. And for example, like you have MAFO, HAFO, FVO, and that's just like, it's the same school, but it's just a different level. So like FVO is the highest level. That means you're like the smartest and you just learn stuff in a smarter like level. And then you have HAFO, which is like learning stuff in a pretty smart level. And MAFO is just the easy level.
Okay, and this is all like high school level, university?
Yes.
Okay, high
Yes,
school, okay.
high school.
Okay,
It's
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting, because that is so different.
Yeah, it's really hard to understand. And it was for me really hard to understand as well.
I think for me, since I really got used to living in the Netherlands, it's the public transports for sure, because, for example, in my city, it's a small city in Sicily, and there are not as many buses or ways that connect to the center, so I just have to use the car. And here in the Netherlands, I never use the car. I'm always walking. For example, people in Italy are not that used to walk that much to places. For example, if you're at home, you don't just walk to the supermarket. You just take the car to the supermarket.
Okay.
So,
We're lazy.
we're lazy, yes. We like la dolce vita. So.
Okay, interesting. And like, so you said Sicily, so how big would you say it is compared to here? Because I'd assume walking and driving has to do with how big the city is and...
Exactly, because, for example, our city is definitely bigger than Amsterdam. It's actually bigger in terms of square kilometers. So it is bigger. And going from one side to the city of the other, sometimes it can take even, like 1 hour and a half?
1 hour. If I can add something to it, I think the way it is structured is different. It's not just the square meters, like the size of the city, but like the city we're from is basically long. So you have, and it's full of like places where they are not easily accessible by car, like by public transports.
Okay.
So basically we only have one main bus that goes from one point to another. But yeah, if you want to go like more towards the mountains or like by the seaside, I think it's a bit more tricky.
Okay.
Yeah,
unless you have a car.
Unless you have a car.
Okay.
Which in the Netherlands is like, you can have a car, you cannot have a car, that's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'd assume if you were to bike in Italy, it wouldn't work like...
No, because they also drive pretty like crazy.
Yeah. So when, if you're cycling, it's just, if you want to do some exercise in the, outside the center. But if you're in the center, there's no way you can use a bike.
No, yeah. It's
At
not
least,
a thing. It's
at
not
least
a thing.
in our city. Because
Okay.
in Italy, in general, there are some places where you can bike.
I see. Okay. So yeah, guys, turns out way more people than I thought actually go through reverse culture shock as well. And yeah, guys, this is the end of the video. So guys, please make sure that you go like, subscribe, comment, and share. And I'll see you guys next week. Thanks for watching, guys.